Now, Storm Watch 12 weather with meteorologist Oliver Smith.
Well, we're taking a live look down to our south here in Medford from the People's Bank on Biddle Road. You can see a bit of a prescribed fire down to our south, so this is good news because this will definitely help with smoke overall, even though it's producing some smoke right now. So in case you're wondering, that's what's going on. Now it's 74 degrees in Medford, but the big story is the drastically cooler temperatures over towards Brookings. You're 30 degrees cooler compared to this time yesterday. Everyone else just a little bit warmer, but why the big change? Well, you had the Chetco effect yesterday, that north wind warming and compressing that air right along the coast and southern Oregon coast. And now it's switched directions. It's 53 degrees in Brookings with fog, so a huge difference overall. Not a whole lot of difference for the rest of the region. We're into the 60s and 70s, so still at least 74. It's comfortable for right now, but temperatures will be continuing to climb throughout the day. Our storm track is getting a little bit closer to us now because our high pressure is slowly starting to weaken. So the main activity is getting over towards Washington State. It was way up towards central Canada yesterday. So this is kind of a sign of things to come. We'll talk about that more in a little bit. But winds right now are a little bit on the gusty side along the Oregon coast with the exception of Brookings, farther up towards the north. About 17 miles an hour. They've been generally about 10 to 20 miles an hour so far today. They've had some gusts around 25 miles an hour. We could see those kind of wind gusts east of the Cascades later on this afternoon, but no real significant wind events is expected. Now, once we get towards past sunset, the wind will calm down as it usually does. So the forecast for today, we'll be looking at a lot of sunshine here in the Rogue Valley. Very warm temperatures yet again. We're still anticipating at least mid-80s for this afternoon. 86 the forecast high in Medford, 82 for Grants Pass, right around 80 degrees for Lakeview and Klamath Falls, 86 over in Mount Shasta City. For tonight, we're going to be looking at temperatures a little bit cooler out towards the east of the Cascades, upper 30s, maybe some low 40s out there. Otherwise, we'll be looking at 40s and 50s west of the Cascades, 39 for Lakeview, 47 for Mount Shasta City, and 48 for Wairika. So what we're going to be looking at for our stormcast for the remainder part of the day is still a pretty good northwesterly breeze, and that system is a system that's quickly approaching us, and this will give us maybe some low clouds early tomorrow morning here in the Rogue Valley. That'll definitely be a sign of things cooling off because tomorrow will be cooler compared to today. We go into the afternoon, we'll have a pretty clear sky. Bit of a northwesterly breeze, and that's really all we're going to be looking at. Now we go through Saturday and Sunday, we'll start getting a little bit more in the way of some wind, especially out over towards Lake County. Wind will start to gust quite a bit over there. And that's ahead of our next system, which will move in on Sunday. You can see a little bit more in the way of some low clouds for Sunday morning. For the Klamath Basin, we're going to be looking at some pretty comfortable temperatures into the low 70s, maybe a little bit on the mild side, but starting to cool off a little bit more on Sunday. Still looking at a lot of sunshine overall. Not looking at any significant rain events until maybe once we get towards Tuesday and into Wednesday. That's when we finally get a big change in the weather pattern. But right now, our system that'll cool us off a little bit for tomorrow pushes mainly up to our north. But again, that cools us off a little bit more. We go cool off also into the weekend as well. But once we get towards Monday, we kind of get a little brief break. But our next system up to our north, that'll push into our region. So we're going to be looking more typical kind of May weather as opposed to what we've been looking at with these crazy 80 degree and 90 degree temperatures. So here's your forecast for the Oregon coast. Temperatures staying into the 70s through Friday, cooling off into the 60s. Overnight lows primarily into the 40s. You might actually see some rain though by the time we get towards Wednesday. Northern California, a string of dry weather up through about Wednesday as well, but 80s for today. Cooling off eventually into the 60s beginning over the weekend. Klamath Basin, you'll have some cold overnight lows well into the 30s, but your highs are going to go from the 80s today to the 60s, even the low 60s beginning on Sunday. Cascades will go from the 70s to the 50s by early next week, and we might even see some rain and snow showers by the middle of the week. And the Rogue Valley, it's going to be warm today, but close to room temperature by the time we get to Sunday. Still lots of sunshine, so definitely you want to keep your suntan lotion handy, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad you brought that up because as summer's coming around, we do need to make sure to protect our skin. Thanks, Oliver.
Yeah, you bet.
Go ahead and switch over to our Health Watch.